in 1992, I moved to New York City. I was kind of escaping Tampa, Florida, because I didn't want my family to know that I was HIV positive. So I moved to New York. And my very first job was in a place called Sally's, which is actually featured in Paris is Burning. And I landed in the middle of what was left of the cast of Paris is Burning. So I worked with Dorian Corey. I worked with Angie Extravaganza. I was the DJ for them at this club.
Today on Rainbow Country, a queer artist spotlight featuring DJ, drag artist, activist, Alfonso King Jr.
Hi, I'm Christopher Rice, and this is Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
Alfonso King Jr., hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I am well. I have to say thank you for coming back to Rainbow Country. Let's start here. You wear many hats, Alfonso King Jr. You are a DJ, you are a producer, an actor, a vocalist, an activist, a spouse. You also have a few names: DJ Relentless, Jade Electra, Alfonso King Jr. Also, too, in my humble gay opinion, a history, I think, would apply to yourself because my understanding is back in the day, the 90s, you were part of the ballroom scene in New York City, the voguing scene. Take
Hmm.
me back to that time in your life, and how were you part of the ballroom scene, the voguing scene, in
Um,
that pivotal time of like gay culture?
well, in 1992, I moved to New York City. I was kind of escaping Tampa, Florida, because I didn't want my family to know that I was HIV positive. So I moved to New York. And my very first job was in a place called Sally's, which is actually featured in Paris is Burning. And I landed in the middle of what was left of the cast of Paris is Burning. So I worked with Dorian Corey. I worked with Angie Extravaganza. I was the DJ for them at this club. And the person who took me in was a queen named the Electrifying Grace. She wasn't well, and we had a benefit for her. And so I was mentioning to Dorian Corey that I did drag. And she was like, well, you should do something for this benefit. So she made me an outfit, which I still have. And I performed, and Pepe LaBeija was at that benefit. And she saw me and she called me over afterwards. And she goes, you remind me of myself when I was younger. How would you like to be in the house of LaBeija? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So I didn't have to walk a ball. I didn't, I was just inducted into the house because of Peppa liked me. But I didn't stay in it for very long. I probably was in it for maybe about 6 months because I realized that I wasn't as competitive as everyone else. Like the ballroom scene is your life when you join it. So you're working towards the next ball. And I had aspirations of doing other things. I wanted to act. I wanted to make music. I wanted to be a DJ. And those things were just they would have taken up more time to be in the ballroom scene, so I left it. So it's not like I was a legend in the House of LaBeija or anything like that. I was only in it for a short time, but for the time that I was, I did walk several balls. I won some trophies because of the people had never seen me, so they put me up for Butch Queen first time in drags at a ball, and because they'd never seen me before, they would be like, "Oh my God, he looks great." So that was the extent of it. I know it doesn't sound as glamorous as, but I did end up working for a lot of the ball scene because of I DJ'd for many balls, and I also started creating music which was used for it, like the bitch tracks that I did as Jade Electra.
So looking back today, from where you are today, back then, what's the takeaway? What when you look back on your time then, what comes to mind? What do you take from that period of time and still use to this day?
Well, I mean, coming from Tampa, Florida, where there it wasn't the one, there wasn't a scene of color. So if you were out, you were going out with everyone. The scene was so small there that everyone had to share the dance floor. So everybody, Leathermen, drag queens, were all on one dance floor because there were only a few bars. Going to New York and finding a community of color and really learning to appreciate being Black. I'm actually Black and Latino, but like just finding a community where I wasn't different and I was actually accepted. And that was the most important part of going to New York for me. And the drag queens who took me under their wings, Pepe LaBeija, Dorian Corey, um, Paris Dupree, who is in the film, but they didn't do her interview because she was demanding money before the movie got released, so they cut her. And she bitched about it all the way to her death. um, New York was the best lesson for me and also the best move for me because of it actually showed me that I could survive on my own. Um, so that time period was really, really important. And I got to do so many things because once I started auditioning for film and television, I also got to travel. I had never left the country before, so I got to go to Rome and London. It was amazing. I signed a record deal over in London. Um, they were trying to make me into their version of RuPaul, but unfortunately 9/11 happened and their business offices were in the Twin Towers. And that kind of ended the deal. I had an album that was just being held. So eventually I got the rights back to everything and I released the album just a couple of years ago and it's called Legendary Darling. But yeah, all of my stuff was tied up with this label and the publishing and all that stuff. So all that got fixed and I was able to get my stuff back. But my material had been floating around on the internet and Napster was a big problem for me because it put out a lot of my stuff without me getting to say yay or nay about either.
So that was then. This is now. You have a new single with platinum selling artist Simone Denny called Let's Call It Love. Talk to me about this collaboration. First of all, how did this collaboration come about?
Well, I had been trying to work with her for a while, actually for almost a decade. I was working with a producer and performer named Brian Greenwood, who used to go by Divinesque. And we were the Snatch Sisters back then. We were doing the Pride scene and traveling places and performing together. And he was a producer, and he happened to have some vocals left over for something that he recorded with her. And I was like, oh, I like those. It had a good hook to it, so we recorded a song called "The Realness." Now, ironically, my career as a recording artist has always kind of paralleled with RuPaul and Ru, actually, which is bizarre, shortly after we recorded our song, had a song called The Realness. And I approached Simone and asked her about doing it. Well, her manager at the time was like, oh, yeah, you can use the vocals or whatever. You just have to pay us about like $1,000 something. And I was like, I'm a poor person living in the ghetto. I don't have any money to like, yeah, I don't have money like that. So, so we couldn't release the song. Um, but I started running into Simone at different events and different things. So we became friends and we kept talking about we should collab on something, we should write something or whatever. But she's a busy, busy girl. She is constantly like being flown here and there to go perform. They love her over in the UK. They love her over in Ireland. She is constantly going. We talk about it and it never happened. But this last year, during the summer, she was like, we really need to get on this. And so we literally wrote the song together over Zoom. And we went over, my producer, Eric Elias, did a track and sent it to us. And so we just started listening to it and trying to work out lyrics and we did it. And then once we got those down, I got her in the studio and she recorded it. And I had no intentions of being on the track, but she was like, you need to be on this. You helped write it, blah, blah, blah. So, I took the microphone and I sang some parts of the backup for her. But the hook of Let's Call It Love, I decided I got the idea from another track, an old 90s track where JoJo JoJo America spoke and it was Give Me Love. So I was like, oh, I should do something like that. So I just spoke in my normal voice in a low register and I was like, let's call it love. And we used it on the track and that became part of the hook. So that's how it came about. And we got signed to Matt Moss's label, Viden Music. And, um, you know, the rest is history, I guess. We have some new remixes by Dirty Disco out of Texas. Matt did some mixes. And I'm hoping that we'll get one more or two more mixes done. I just spoke to Simone the other day about us doing a music video, so hopefully we can get that done soon.
So Alfonso King Jr., we're talking all about you. Let's talk about you as a DJ, DJ Relentless. My understanding is you have a new night at the Black Eagle in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about what audiences, what dancing feet can expect at your night at the Black Eagle in Toronto. First of all, what day of the week is it? And is there a name for the night?
Yes, it's Sundays from 4 to 8. I wanted to bring back the early tea dance because, in the old days, I remember when tea dances started at 2 p.m. And the twist for mine is it's video. It's all music video. So you actually can come in and relive the good old days of the 70s and 80s. But it's called Video Jukebox. So you can actually request things. So, and you can request something current also. So it's not just the oldies. It can be anything. So the music can go in any direction. It's an open format. And we want to create a place where everyone is welcome. I think that the Eagle has a reputation of just being a man's bar, but actually anyone is welcome. Women, drag queens, trans people, everyone is welcome. And that's the vibe, I guess. Coming from Tampa, Florida, where everyone had to share the dance floor, that's been my goal ever since I've been a DJ, is to have everyone on the floor. So we just started, and the first one went very well. A couple of things real quick. As Jade Electra, I host a game show called Thought You Knew, which happens on the second Thursdays of each month. And it's a trivia game show, so everyone is welcome. We prefer 18 and up because we do cover some adult subjects and trivia. Also, every third Tuesday of each month, I do Pink Cinema, and that is my movie night. And that's also a free event. And if you join our Facebook group, you can vote on what movie we are going to see. We discuss the movie after whatever movie it is afterwards, and we pick the next theme for the next month.
And
And last,
where are these things happening?
oh, one more, and then I'll give you the place. Mingle is our monthly fundraiser for different ASOs, AIDS organizations with services. And that happens on the third Thursday of each month. All of these events happen at the PWA building at 163 Queen Street East. They're on the first floor in the community hub. It's a beautiful space. During the summer, we've been enjoying their patio, but the weather is changing. Yeah, it's a great space. This new building that they moved into a couple of years ago is amazing. I'm finally glad that I found a space where I can create things and actually give back to the community. And the way that I like doing is like creating events, because of a lot of people who are living with HIV get taken down by depression. That's one of the biggest killers of people with HIV. So building a community where they can come and have experiences of entertainment and all of that stuff, and also welcoming in other people as allies. So people who aren't HIV positive, please come down and show your support. It's a free event. So
So we're talking about you as an artist, you as a DJ. You also act, although this next project that's done and out isn't necessarily you acting, but CANFAR, the Canadian Foundation for AIDS Research, just did and released their first film, a short film called Still Here. It's a documentary. Talk to me essentially about what this short documentary Still Here is about.
well, I mean, the big topic right now on the HIV/AIDS scene is aging. I don't think that well, I know that they didn't plan for us to still be alive. So that's the main goal right now, is getting people to realize that like we need to start making plans for seniors who are living with HIV and put things in place. During the pandemic, I was on several panels for an organization called Realize, and I actually host a symposium about aging. And I learned so much of what seniors go through, not just like people living with HIV, but like in senior homes, if you're a couple, they will separate you. They don't want you to actually have sex, with something that I had no clue about. There's all kinds of things. There's nothing in place for people who are living with HIV. So, and the majority back in 2020 and 2021, the majority of the people who were talking in these groups were talking about how badly LGBT people are treated in senior living, because the majority of the nurses are from the Caribbean, and that, their take on gay people is, it's wrong. So a lot of people were being mistreated. So we started raising our voices and talking about how these things need to change. There needs to be a protocol, and also that there's a need for senior homes that are built for LGBT people. So, but yeah, I turned 58 this year, and I always joke that I'm on a banana pill sliding towards 60. So I need to start worrying about these things and what retirement looks like for seniors, especially who are living with HIV, because you need to be prepared for that transition, uh, to get your meds and your care and all that stuff. So, yeah.
So talk to me about your activism then. Why is activism? Why does that speak to you? Why is that important for you
Um,
to be active?
well, I think my activism here in Toronto started because of when I first got here. I wasn't a citizen. I wasn't a permanent resident. I was married to a Canadian, but like I couldn't work. I couldn't, not legitimate work. And PWA was the place that we had to go to get services and to get food at certain points because of, I live in public housing. And so my activism actually started with PWA. I wanted to give back. I felt like I needed to participate and help others. And also looking at the scene, there was a group that was called Out and Pause, but technically they weren't. They were kind of meeting in secret. They had a secret list of their members, and they would meet at Bumpkins for dinner. But like it wasn't out like where other people could learn about it or know or come and see. So my husband and I started Pause TO. And that started at Good Handies. That's how long ago it was, before they turned into Club 120. And we were doing this monthly party called Pause TO. And I wanted something that was out and proud about being HIV positive, because we have to fight stigma. And that's been the main goal, is fighting stigma. If we cannot fight stigma hiding in a closet. So I really put myself out there, and my husband and I came out in Fab magazine about being HIV positive, in their couples column. But yeah, I really wanted to kind of shake things up because I didn't see anyone else really being very vocal about being HIV positive. So that was the goal.
I should just say that when you say PWA, that's People with AIDS Foundation
Oh,
in based
yes.
in Toronto. So, how have you found that that like dealing with that stigma and trying to erase that stigma? I know that there's that campaign, "U equals U," meaning undetectable equals untransmittable
Hmm.
when it comes to individuals living with HIV and on medication. But how have you found uh, trying to erase and alleviate stigma around HIV and AIDS? How has that been for you?
Well, actually, it's been really good, and it's actually taken me very far because I am very vocal about about being positive. Um, the 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 liberating thing, I know that not everyone can come out about their status. Some people they don't because of their family or the religious beliefs or whatever. But I always say that you need people like me who are going to be out and talk freely. And I did a residency at the University of Toronto in the Queer and Trans Research Lab, talking about community leadership and teaching how I took an intern under my wing for the whole semester for the school year and showed her how um I put together all of my events, how I do the fundraising, all of that stuff. So hopefully some of that will brush off on some of the younger people that like, oh, this is very important to give back to our community. And I always say, as long as I am helping others, I will never be hungry. I will never be because of I'm trying to do something for other people, and other people always end up helping me in return. So, that I don't find it to be that hard anymore. I feel like I've already told everyone, so there's nothing that they can say that's going to be damaging or hurting. I'm not single, so I'm not on the dating sites trying to pick up anyone. But I know that there is a major stigma that goes on. And one of the other big problems, and a lot of HIV positive people hate when I say this, but I say it everywhere. There's a big problem of gay men who are HIV positive, pretending that they're on PrEP instead of being out about their status. And that's one of the problems of PrEP for me is that like it's creating this false narrative that oh, I'm on PrEP, so you know that makes it extra safe. If you're undetectable, you're undetectable and you can't transmit it. And that's what we should be saying and talking about. But there are tons of people who are still they have their own problems and they self-inflict stigma upon themselves. I don't have that, and I don't have to worry about that.
You're mentioning earlier that you're originally from Tampa, Florida, and you recently became a Canadian citizen.
Yes, I
Ha-
did.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How has that been for you, uh, having dual citizenship now?
It's well, I mean, it's
I mean, I'm
great.
assuming you have dual citizenship.
I
I don't think
yeah,
you
I,
rejected your American.
but I'm pretty close to it. Trust me. um, it's been great. When people ask me, well, why did it take so long or whatever? For the longest time, I did not want to have to take the test. I'm really horrible at tests. I get so nervous about them, and I always feel like I'm going to screw them up. And it did not help that I have a husband who is a jokester. So he would tell me all kinds of things like, oh, yeah, you got to learn all 13 provinces and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to learn all this stuff? And so during the pandemic, uh, my citizenship or my permanent residency expired, and it was so hard to get it renewed. So finally last year, I got to go and speak with someone who could help me do the application and all that stuff. She was like, "Why haven't you um, applied?" And I said, "Well, I I'm really afraid of taking the test and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, you're over 55. You don't have to take a test. You just pay the money. And I was like, what? And as soon as I found that out, as soon as I got the money together, I went and paid the money, did the application, and I did that in July of last year, and I came through in April 14th of 2025.
Hmm. Well said and well done to you. Well, I have to say, Jade Electra, DJ Relentless, Alfonso King Jr., thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you're doing, having your voice be out there. Thank you for the music and for the activism, and thank you for your time being on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.